إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وبعد. The death of my father is something that I would like to share with you, and the remarkable story of how, alhamdulillah, just 10 days before he died, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him to make the shahada, the testimony of faith, on his lips. In fact, not only once that happened 10 days before he died, but 3 or 4 days before he died, I spent half an hour with my father in the hospital, half an hour going over with him again and again and again the testimony of faith. There is no God, there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is his messenger. Allah told us to pass on the message. بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجدلهم بالتي هي أحسن, with wisdom and a beautiful exhortation, a good admonition, and to debate and argue and discuss with them in the ways that are best. And so that's our duty. We are givers, we are the ones who bring warning of a terrible punishment, the hellfire. And indeed, not only is the punishment consigned to the next life, there is in reality a punishment and humiliation in this life as well for those who reject Allah. And our duty is to warn people about that reality. But our duty is also to bring the good news, bashiran, the good news, my brothers and sisters, of the beauty of Islam, the peace, the tranquility, the happiness, the joy that Islam brings to the heart, and of course the delight and the beauty of paradise that is waiting for those who follow Allah's guidance and accept His ways. So our duty is to convey the message, to pass the message, to explain to the people in the best way that we can. Guidance is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the one who guides. He guides whom He wills, and He knows best who is worthy of guidance. I'll be honest with you, brothers and sisters. I really never thought that my father would take shahada. I mean, for me, my father was a fantastic man. I have to say, he as a father, he was amazing. Anyone who met him, he was a real outstanding personality, and no one could describe him as a bad person or a particularly saintly person. He was what he was. But in many ways, throughout the years, the 23 plus years that I've been Muslim, and throughout those years, I have done many, many things to invite my father to Islam. Subhanallah, when I first started practicing Islam, of course I talked to him, I wrote him letters, I wrote him long letters, I gave him books to read. Subhanallah, whatever I could do, and when I had exhausted the realms of possibilities in terms of giving him materials and talking to him, I just decided that I should restrict myself to giving the best example that I possibly could of how Islam should be, of how Islam should be lived, of how Islam teaches me to respect him as a parent. And I always really, sometimes I have to say, thought that my father was really, to be honest, someone who I thought was very closed-minded to the possibilities of Islam. Actually, quite frankly, brothers and sisters, sometimes when I read the verses of the Qur'an describing the people, the disbelievers, I felt as if those verses were sometimes describing my father and his attitude. So, brothers and sisters, I didn't have much hope that he was going to become Muslim. لا إله إلا الله محمد Rasulullah. There is no God except Allah. Muhammad is his messenger.